right? Men are open door. Point one, God uses people as carriers of blessing. Let me repeat that. God uses people as carriers of blessing. Psalms 37, verse 23 said, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Sometimes we pray earnestly for help, for breakthrough, or a sign from heaven. We expect the answer to fall from the sky, but many times God sends his answers through people. Throughout the Bible, we see that God consistently used people as blessing, carriers of his blessing. The widow of Zephra in First Kings 17, verse 8 to 17, and it said, then the Lord said to Elijah, right? This is God speaking to Elijah. He said, no, go to the town of Zephra near Sidon and stay there. He said, I have commanded a widow who lived there to feed you. So Elijah went to Zarephath, and as he came to the town gate, he saw a widow gathering firewood. Please bring me a drink of water, he said to her. Remember, God said he prepared a widow to give Elijah, to help Elijah, right? And as she was going to get it, he called out, and please bring me some bread too. She answered, by the living God, Lord your God, I swear that I don't have any bread. All I have is a handful of flour in a bowl and a bit of olive oil in a jar. I came here to gather some firewood to take back home and prepare what little I have left for my son and me. That will be our last meal. Then we will starve to death. That was what the woman think. That was her plan for the day. But we understand from the script, from the verses before, that God said the woman was at this place and he have assigned Elijah to go there. Don't worry, Elijah said to her. Go and prepare the meal, but first make a small loaf from what you have and bring it to me. And then prepare the rest for your son, you and your son. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, say. The bowl will not run out of flour, or the jar will not run out of oil before the day that I, the Lord, sent rain. The widow went and did as Elijah told her, and all of them had enough food for many days. As the Lord has promised Elijah, the bowl did not run out of flour, nor did the jar run out of oil. You see, God sent Elijah to the widow who was about to eat her last meal and die. But because she obeyed and blessed Elijah with what little she had, a miracle followed, right? She was provided for. A miracle of provision followed because she obeyed what the prophet had said, what the man of God had said. Elijah was her open door for provision. So while everyone was going through lack and insufficiency, this woman had provision. Her needs was provided for, right? What if she had run Elijah? What she said her plan was eat and die. That would have happened to her. But because she obeyed the open door that God said, remember, she didn't know. She didn't know the conversation between Elijah and God. And oftentimes it's the same with us. We don't know the conversation God is having with other person about us, right? So when we meet persons, we ought to treat them well because we don't know what assignment they're on. And that's how we need to discern. There was a conversation that took place behind this lady back. She was ignorant to that conversation, right? But yet she obeyed. It never made no sense what Elijah said to her, because the liquor that she had, she said, this is for me and my son. We're going to eat and die. And Elijah said, no, make peace, make it and give me first. Right? If it was also that said, boy, this man, that man is wicked, he would want me to take the last of my pitney and give it to him. And probably most of us who would give it to the prophet would have run him. Right? But she obeyed and she was blessed. You see, Elijah was the open door for her miracles. She could have missed it if she rejected him and focused on her lack, right? Because she was going through lack. But what? She obeyed. She obeyed, and it brought forth provision for her, right? As we listen to this verse, this is what God wants us to do. Obey, discern the spirit first, and then we obey, because we don't know the conversation, the meeting that is happening about us. We don't know what God is saying to person about us. That's how we need to discern. Is this from God? God, is this person from you? That's how we need to discern. Our next level may be connected to someone God has sent in our life. Let us not miss the moment by misjudging the person or dishonoring them with our bad attitude. This lady could have cursed Elijah, class him. Imagine our prophetess come one day and say, listen, pick on, and she call anyone. And she say, listen, I know you have, this is what you have, but send it over, sow that seed in my life. The first thing would I say, when we look at what is in our purse, would I say, prophetess is a wicked woman. Because how can she ask me to do this? Right? Not knowing that there's a blessing that comes with us being obedient. You see, sometimes being obedient is hard, but it is the best thing. This woman was blessed, was provided for because she was obedient. Men are open door. Be careful how you treat people that God placed in your life. They're open door. You see? All right. My next point. God used Joseph to preserve an entire nation during famine. Men. Genesis 50 verse 20 read. It said you intended, this is Joseph speaking to his brother. He said you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Joseph's brother missed it like many of us. They did not know that Joseph was the open door that God placed in their life, and hence they mistreated him. But thank God for grace and mercy. That was what speak for Joseph's brothers. You see, sometimes we are born into a family and them treat us so bad. We were mother, we one father, we aunties, we uncles, because they don't know that we are the one to open the blessing for the family. Because oftentimes the blessed one don't look like the blessed one. The blessed one don't behave initially like the blessed one, because it's a work in progress. You understand? Remember, Joseph was the little one, and all of them would go out, and he would just carry little food, go feed them. So he wasn't even a big task to them, right? But he was the one that had the key. He was the open door to their blessing. How many of you know, when you look back in your life, you realize that you're the one that God gave the key to open the door for the bloodline, but they treat you badly. Well, I pray that grace and mercy will speak to such family, will speak for them like it speak for Joseph's brothers, right? He was the open door and they treated them. What if their plans was successful? When the famine came, the entire nation would die, because God gave that one man. He gave that one man the wisdom to tell Pharaoh the dream, to save an entire nation. Joseph got it. Nobody could have told Pharaoh what was happening but Joseph. So that was the key to save an entire nation and even his entire bloodline. Israel would have been null and void if they had successful with their plan. Right? Many of us, sometimes mothers, they have your children, and the one that you put down is the one that God will use to lift you up. Be careful. Men are open door, right? Some person have the key, and some of us walk through the door, right? You don't know who have the key to your next blessing. And we're praying the prayer. This is it, the Lord's Prayer. Lord, let your will be done in heaven as it is. Let it be done on earth as it is in the heaven. How is it going to be done here on earth? When God has given us from in Genesis dominion here on earth. When we meet the persons on earth, human being, we treat them bad. How will the will be done? Think about it. Think about the prayer. God, let your will be done as it is in the heaven here on earth. Right? So that's the will of God. It's the will of God for us all to be blessed. Right? So how are we going to be blessed? When we are treating the one who God placed in our life to bless us, we are treating them badly because of our dirty attitude. But we pray in the prayer. And when we see God bless others because they understand how to operate, then we feel some sort of become bad mind. Right? We need to treat people well. Men are open door. God used Moses to deliver his people from slavery. Exodus 3 verse 10. It said, come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh. Thou hast made bring forth thy people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Moses was the key. He had the key to the door to release Israel out of Egypt. Remember, Moses ran from Egypt, and God go find him in a wilderness. I said, come, Moses, it's time for you to go deliver my people. Moses was the open door for Israel deliverance out of Egypt. He was that one. Men are open door. Number 4, God uses Ruth to carry the bloodline of King David and ultimately Jesus. Ruth 1 verse 4 said, they took wives from Moab woman. The name of one of them was Oprah and the other was Ruth. So Ruth wasn't even one of the ideal persons, right? She was a Moabite. She wasn't an Israelite. But look how God used her as open door, right? Ruth 4 verse 13 to 4 said, so Boaz took Ruth and she became his wife. And he went in with her, and the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son. Then the woman said to Naomi, blessed is the Lord, who has not left you without a redeemer grandson, as heir today, and may his name become famous in Israel. Ruth 4 verse 16 to 17. Then Naomi took the child and placed him in her lap, and she became his nurse. The neighbor woman gave him a name, saying, a grandson has been born to Naomi. They name him Obed, worshiper. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David, the ancestors of Jesus Christ. So God uses a Moabite woman to bring forth the bloodline of King David and Jesus. He uses a bloodline. Ruth was that open door. Ruth had that key for that bloodline, right? She had the key for that bloodline. What if the people had rejected her when she went back around the Israelites as a Moabite woman? They fighted against her, yes. But the Lord was with Ruth because he knew that she was the one who have done what he had placed her on earth to do. All of us have an assignment here on earth. As I said before, some person have key, some person walk through the door. Number 5, God uses Mary, a young woman of humble faith, to carry the Savior. Luke 1 verse 31 said, listen carefully. You will conceive in your womb and give birth to a son, and you shall name him Jesus. Even today, listen, God is still using people, placing them in our life by divine design to encourage, to help, and bless us. God used Mary to bring forth the Savior. Men are open door. But if we are not spiritually alert, we will miss them. We may overlook the very persons that God sent to help us. We will overlook them. Remember, people are not accident, they are assignments. People are not accident. Let me repeat that, they are assignments. Relationships are not random, they're orchestrated. Blessing, listen, blessing often have legs and voice. Blessings are people. Blessings are human beings. But we treat people so bad because our attitude is so nasty. We don't treat people right. And hence we shut the very door that God opened in our life. And if we'll only know that we may be sitting waiting for another door to open, but that persons that we disrespect may have been the one that would have the key to open every other door in our life. But we disrespect them. And then we complain when nothing not happening in our life. When we see other people's life being blessed, we complain, not knowing that we have already shut the door. It's not that God never sent help, but we shut the door. We see throughout the scriptures, God used people. It was people that he used here on earth to fulfill his mission. He used Mary to bring forth Jesus, so we could be here today serving him. He used Moses to free the Israelites. He used Joseph to save them from famine. It never said in the Bible that God came down and do that. He used men, and he's still using men today to be blessing in our life, but we overlook them. Open your heart and eyes today and ask the Holy Spirit for discernment to recognize when God is working through someone in your life. And remember, you are also carrying a blessing for someone. 1 Peter 4 verse 10 says, just as one of you has received a special gift, a spiritual talent, an ability graciously given by God, employ it in serving one another as is appropriate for good steward of God. Multifaceted grace, faithfully using the diverse varied gifts, abilities granted to Christians by God unmerited favor. What Peter was saying, that we all have special gift, spiritual talent that was given to us by God to serve one another. To serve one another, right? Not to be selfish, but to serve one another. Some person gift is giving, is helping, lifting up others. I can speak about prophetess. Her gifting is to help others. Her gifting is to place people. God used her to place people in their rightful position here on earth. So many of us can testify of this. Before we met prophetess, yes, we were living, right? We were living, but we weren't living in the potential or the calling that God has placed upon our life. So God used her to push us into our calling. Once you come in contact with her, this is how God uses this woman of God. This is how God uses her to place us all in our calling. So throughout our years, it doesn't matter what age you meet her. Yes, we were living, and life seems like we were in our calling. But look how we are operating now. This is what we are called to do. And many come and they dishonor the grace. So many come and they don't get the chance to walk in their calling because they forfeit it. Because sometimes offense get the better hands of us. God, may God help us. Right? May God help us. Right? Point 2. Your gift make room for you and others. Proverbs 18:16 says, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. God doesn't drop blessing out of the skies. He sends divine connection. That job offer, the business opportunity, the open door often come through a person. It often come through a person. Every person is born with a gift. Sometimes God places gift inside them to bless the world. That gift is not for personal success. It's a divine tool for service, impact, and influence. The gift that our prophetess have is to bless the world. The gift that she, pardon me. The gift that she have is to populate heaven. Because everyone that come in contact with her, they're able to embrace now their true potential, and that is living for God. Anyone that come in contact and that don't happen to them, then something is wrong with them, not her. I can testify. I have many testimony. Oh, God used this woman servant to point me to my destiny and my true calling here on earth. Our calling here on earth is not to get up every day, eat food, dress up and look pretty. No, our calling here on earth is to serve God. That's our calling. And this God uses woman servant to point everybody that come in contact with her to point us to God. It's not that like she tell us, oh, go serve God and all of that. No, that's not it. Because that wasn't it. But her life and her kindness and the love that you have for humanity, that alone will cause you, once you come in contact with her, to start taking God seriously. Right? Your gift is not random. It's a key designed to unlock rooms, and you haven't even stepped into it yet. When nurtured and surrendered to God, that gift becomes a vehicle of favor, open door to places and people you never imagined you'd reach. But here's the powerful truth. Your gift don't just make room for you, it make room for others. It make room for others. Joseph's gift of interpreting dreams saved not just Egypt, but his family. Right? It saved not just Egypt, but it saved his entire family. Esther's courage and beauty, her gift brought deliverance to her people. Esther 4, verse 14. It said, if you keep quiet at this time, like this, help will come from heaven to the Jews, and they will be saved, but you will die. You and your father's family will come to an end. Yet, who knows, maybe it was for a time like this that you were made queen. Esther, her beauty and her gift and her bravery brought deliverance to the people. She was open door to their deliverance. Your gift may be teaching, creating, organizing, encouraging, leading, or simply loving others with unusual compassion. Whatever it is not too small. It is not insignificant. When you walk in your gift, you become a blessing carrier. Let me repeat that. When you walk in your gift, you become a blessing carrier. Others benefit. Chains break. Doors open. Life is changed. When you're walking in your gifting, when you're living to your full potential, you become a blessing carrier. Others benefit from it. Life of people will be changed. So don't hide your gift. Don't diminish it. Don't delay using it. Use your gift that God has given unto you to bless others and to bless yourself. 1 Timothy 4, verse 14. It said, do not neglect the spiritual gift that is in you, which was given to you when the prophets spoke and the elders laid their hands on you. Don't neglect your gift. Instead, store it up, sharpen it, and surrender it to God. Listen, your gift is your ministry, and through it, God will position you in rooms of influence in the presence of great men, not for your own glory, but to fulfill his purpose through you. Your gifting that God has given unto you It's your ministry. But many of us, because our heart posture is so incorrect, we use our gift as some spiteful thing. We need to stop. It will make room. It's your ministry, whatever God has given unto you. The Bible said we all have it and we should not neglect it. You see, David needed Samuel to anoint him. As much as so he was a king, he needed Samuel to anoint him. We need people. Joseph needed Pharaoh cupbearer to remember him. Esther needed Mordecai guidance and favor from the king. Listen, even Jesus needed Simon of Cyrene to help him carry the cross. When he was tired, Simon of Cyrene was available to help him carry the cross. Men are open door. Who you honor, who you serve, and who you connect with matters. Your miracle is often one connection away. Who you honor and who you serve and who you connect with, it matters. Your miracle is one connection away. Men are open doors. Sometimes we connect with the wrong people because we shut the door where God opened for us. And then no miracle, nothing. Our life becomes stagnant. Treat people with love and respect and honor because God may be using them to get something to you. But sometimes God have to, you say, God have to test our heart, you know. You don't just meet people and then become blessing to you. God have to see our heart ready for the blessing. He have to see that we are ready for it. So that's how we will meet person. Them don't look like them, them don't look like them carry the blessing. And this is what messed us up. We meet them and them don't look like them irrelevant. Them don't make no sense in our life. So we disrespect them. Let that not be our story, Mount Zion. Don't go about disrespecting people. Because we don't know who is carrying the key. We don't know who is carrying the key. God used simple things to connect you to people. I can share this. What God used to allow me to meet prophetess was a very simple thing. She was in college, I was in college. And I was doing a project where I was supposed to make some balls out of stocking or socks for PE. But they should bounce when we made them, right? But mine, they weren't bouncing. And the teacher said at least one have to bounce, right? And I was there and I was frustrated. And her prophetess husband came and he saw me. And he asked me, what you doing? And I explained to him, I'm making the ball, but none is bouncing. And he said, you know, my wife did the same thing. I'm going to ask her to lend it to you. And he did as he said. And we met each other and the rest is history. I didn't know that God would have used, remember this woman, to let her be where we are today. When I met her, we met over simple bouncing a ball. That was it. And look today how God used the friendship. We don't know who God connect us with. We meet some person some simple way, but our behavior. Sometimes grace and mercy don't always speak, you know. Because God said, show grace and mercy to who him choose. So when we meet people, we have to be careful. Be careful how you treat them. Be careful how you deal with them. Our bad attitude will push them away. Prophetess repeat it all the time. When she just met me, she thought I was crazy. And it's because of my past. So I will treat everyone in a way that I don't trust you. So I'll deal with you accordingly. But thanks be to God, she saw something else within me. And she stick around and she realized that this one can change. Woman servant, I thank you. Right? Point 3, discernment is the key. Hebrews 13 verse 2. Do not forget to show hospitality to strangers, for by doing so, some people have shown hospitality to angels without knowing. Right? Some persons, sometimes a person who annoys us is the one who tempt us to we are tempted to ignore them. The person who annoys us, we are tempted to ignore them. And might be that's the person that God chooses to bless us or to teach us something. So the person that annoy you, the person that in your mind, I can't stand this person. Come, I don't know, we can't create anybody. But we just get up in ourselves and we just hate people. No reason. We are annoyed by them. Them speak and we are annoyed. Them do this, I mean, I like them. Right? And that's a person that God placed in your life to bless you. That's a person that God chose. How God chooses to bless us, we don't dictate that. Who He chooses to bless us, we don't dictate that either. You see, if Israel had a choice, you think they would have chosen Moses to come deliver them? No, because remember, they all said Moses murdered the man. Remember when he went back there, they said, you murderer. Right? So they wouldn't have chose him to come deliver them. But God chose Moses, send him back to Egypt, go deliver my people. So who we want to bless us, that's not the person God designed. It's the one that we are annoyed with. And you know why we are annoyed? We are not annoyed because of the person. We are annoyed because something is within us. Our heart, our soul is messed up. And that's why we are annoyed. And that's why we need to discern. God, why am I annoyed with this person? God, why I just see this person, I just don't like them? Have you ever meet person like that? Then we just say, me not like that person then, and then you ask them, why you don't like the person? Them can't tell you. They have no reason why they don't like the person. It's because something is within you. That's why you don't like the person. Check yourself. Leave the person alone. Check yourself. God, search me. God, why me not like that person here? Cause not knowing that God want get that out of you now before Him use the person to bless you. Because if you reject the person, how will the God use that person to bless you? No, God don't work like that. No. Israel had to come to a point where they had to accept Moses. Joseph's brother had to accept him for him to be a blessing to them. The Israelites had to accept Ruth for God to use her. Come on. So we have to accept those who God placed in our life to bless us before we get the blessing. So let us not be too proud to receive from unlikely source. And let us not get familiarity because it breeds dishonor. Sometimes we get familiar with persons. But you have to learn to cut that out. Cut it out. We disrespect people because we get familiar with them. Cut it out. You see, sometimes the person God has anointed to bless us is the person to help us, to lead us. Maybe there's someone who we know well, right? A sibling, a friend, a neighbor, or even a pastor we've grown too familiar with. Sometimes that very person that God wants to use to bless us, we get familiar with them because we're used to them. Let us not get used to. Let us drop them behavior there. Don't get used to. Because this person carry a blessing. Because when we get used to, we tend to say things that we're not supposed to say. Because we get used to. When we stop seeing through the lens of honor, we limit what God can do in our life. Let me repeat that. When we stop seeing through the lens of honor, that means we don't honor persons. We don't honor the vessel that God placed in our life. We limit what God can do in our life. Because we dishonor the source that God placed in our life. We dishonor the person who have the key to open the door. And we limit what God want to do in our life. You see, honor unlock miracles. When we honor people, miracles, doors will be open in our life. I have numerous testimony just coming in contact with Prophetess Alicia. Oh, listen, miracles, sign and wonders. Yes, we have to learn. If we don't know how to honor, we can learn. God allow me to teach this message tonight because He walked me through this. He showed me that, listen, men are not your enemy. They are open door. The reason why I used to see everybody as someone I cannot trust, it was me. It wasn't them. But God used that to show me that when you honor a person, miracles will be unlocked to you. Treat person well. What prevents us from walking through those open doors? And listen carefully to this point. Dishonor shut door. Dishonor shut door. Listen, our bad behavior and disrespectful ways will shut doors in our life that no amount of apology, we could have apologized from thy kingdom come, the door will not be open. The door will not be open. Dishonor shuts door. Listen, taking spiritual leaders for granted, it prevents doors from opening. When we dismiss advice from close family because they have always been around, we dismiss what they're saying, it closes the door. Because you don't know who God chose in the family. You don't know who God gave the key to. He gave the key to Joseph for his family. And they almost would have lose out. When we undervalue people simply because they don't fit our idea of greatness. Yeah, them not great. Who them? We dishonor them. We not put a value upon them because them have no big status. We don't walk through doors. Stop look down on people. It's pride why we do that. It's prideful. So somebody probably can't read, they can't write well. But because we're bright and we're all like this, we don't play the people. No, we don't know who. It was the person in the prison with Joseph. If that guy didn't remember him and go tell Pharaoh, Joseph would just know that Joseph entered prison. And that was it. Rest would be history. Right? Don't undervalue people. And I'm coming down to an end. As we wait for God to move, let us remember God moved through people. We see it in the Bible. If you check your own life, God moved through people. Or a miracle may not come with angel wings or fireworks. It may come through a friend, a stranger, a mentor, or even someone we overlook. Let us stay open and humbled and connect to people God placed in our path. Use discernment. I'm not saying that everybody you say we're welcome them in your atmosphere or in your circle. No, that's not what I'm saying. Use discernment. God, did you send this one? God will reveal it to you. Keep praying until he answer you. But until then, you don't treat people bad. Until then, you don't treat people bad. God wanted Judas, Jesus wanted Judas to betray him. So his plan could carry out. So don't treat them as evil if they're Judas. Peter had to deny Christ for him to see his own fault. So God could use him and say, you are the rock. Don't treat people bad. Right? So let us reflect who God sent in your life that you might be overlooking today. Think about it. Right? Be intentional this week. Encourage someone. Support someone. Offer your time as a gift. Reposition your heart, people. Don't despise small beginning or unlikely people. Our blessing might be wrapped up in humility. Be humble. Be respectful always. As I said before, our disrespectful behavior can close a door that no apologies can reopen. We could say, sorry, sorry, sorry. The door will remain closed. The door will remain closed.
Three different types of person that enter your life. You have destiny helpers, you have destiny connectors, and you have burden bearers. Now you need to discern which category these people fall under. Destiny helpers, they will often hold the key on the door, meaning that they'll be the one that will push you to that next level. They'll be the one that God will cause great things happen in your life, mighty God. Divine connectors. Divine connectors are those who will connect. They can't help you, right, as such, but they'll connect you to people who can help you. Let me go again. Divine helpers are those that will hold the keys on the door, meaning they will open the door for you to enter through it. right? They're the ones that already have the foundation, right? And cause you to enter into greatness. Divine connectors, they may not hold the key and the door, but they can point you to the person who holds the key and the door. So these persons are very, very important to connect you to your destinies. Mighty God, burden bearers, these persons may not be able, Father God, to pour out into you, like to give you material things or to give you or to give you resources, but they carry the burden. They will help you. They will encourage you. They will do what is necessary to make your environment comfortable, your life comfortable. So if you need something to be done, they're quick to go ahead and do it, so it relieve you of that stress, and so you can focus on something else. These people are very, very important, especially in ministry. Especially in ministry, they are very important because as I can myself as an example, as a prophet, I cannot be consumed by a lot of stuff. My time have to be emptied most of the time. So I have to disperse work, disperse stuff that to be done. So I can get that time, because how I hear from God is different from how others will hear. I hear from God, God has to speak to me. So when my time is too busy, I can miss what he's saying. And if I'm doing something and he said to me, woman servant, leave what you're doing and come into me, I have to leave. Then no, I now have to delegate it to someone else to complete. Right? So these are burden bearer. They step in, you'll know your burden bearer because you don't have to ask them for help. Listen, they'll be thinking about you and thinking how they can help you without you asking them. And that's how you recognize your burden bearers. You recognize the divine connectors because they will connect you to the right source and to the right person. You recognize your divine helpers because you realize that when you enter their circle, you become a better person. And you're not where you used to be. I want you to get it. So you're not at that level. Say if you enter, I never have nothing, you can chase back and say, since I have entered into this atmosphere, this is my journey. This is where I am at now. Those are divine helpers. So there are three categories of person. You also carry these three categories to different persons. So to one, you may be divine helpers. To one, you may be divine connectors. And to the other, you may be the burden bearer. Know who you are in person's life. Or you may operate from the three in person's life, right? Know who persons are in your life. If you do not know, then you will miss it and you dishonor their grace, right? When you dishonor grace, it does not operate for you. When you dishonor grace, listen, Jesus, it happened when Jesus was in his own town. He said he did the less miracle. Why could dishonor the grace? But he went out and did great miracles, and multitude followed him. Multitude followed him when he went out of that atmosphere. Why? The atmosphere was not set to honor Christ. So because the atmosphere was not set to honor, they could not pull from him what they needed to pull. So if they needed a healing, they couldn't pull it because what they were operating from an altar of familiarity. And they saw him as a carpenter's son, or Jesus the carpenter. So hence, because they did not see the grace of God, they did not know what he truly carried. So when he left them just as how they are. Never enter. Let me teach you this. Never enter into the presence of no woman or man of God that carry grace and leave the same. Either must leave with a physical blessing or a spiritual blessing. Know how to pull from grace. In the Bible, what do they do to pull from grace? They sow into grace. They build an altar to mark that this is where, to mark the spot that this is where grace enter. And so when Isaac fell asleep on the stone of Abraham, they set up, him they say, heaven, the step angel come back and forth from heaven. And him say, indeed, the presence of the Lord is here. In Father, they build the altar there, so him can know experience what it is. So mark the spot, build an altar. If you can't give, start praying and interceding for the person. If you can't give, find out what you can do. There are many different ways you can honor grace. I know sometimes you think about only money. No, you can sow your time. You can help the person do something. Mighty God. So there are different ways you can honor grace. You can do something nice to the person. But because we're living in a world that is selfish and they do not understand spiritual things, they think that, oh, because you want a person to like you. At the time, I will honor grace, and people would misunderstand, thinking that, oh, I probably want the pastor to see me or I want a person. But me know me I do. You see, them probably never get it at that time, but me know me I do. Me know say me enter in a place and me see grace. And me have to partake in that. Me ain't leaving nowhere, going nowhere, and leaving back empty. When the presence of the Lord was there, no, me I carry the grace. Me I sow into the grace, me I do something for the grace because me want grace, pant up on grace. So the Bible said there's grace and there's another grace. Me want another grace. It means I have grace, but there's also another grace, right? So what you don't honor, you can't partake of. So if you did disrespectful to a woman or man of God, you better go ask God for restore grace. Because there's no grace that is covering you anymore. Mighty God.